Okay, so for today's lesson then, we're going to be looking at how to use loops within Python. I'm using a website called programiz.com. The link will be attached to Teams to make it easy for you to get to. What this is an online version of Python that you can use from any device. You can use it on a laptop, Chromebook, desktop, iPad, iPhone, or any Android-based devices. It makes no difference. Quick, very simple rundown of the window then. As you can see, we've got our Python language here. We've got our main program. If I click on run, it then says hello world. Nice and simple. There's a little bit of an advert at the top here, but we can ignore that for what we're getting out of it. I don't need these elements, so I'm just going to delete them out. We're going to start off then looking at a very simple for loop. And we're going to do for, I'm going to call it counter, in range, so that's how far we want it to count for. I'm going to say 10. Now as you know, Python is very picky about its white space and its symbols. So use a a colon there, go down to the next line, and notice how it automatically indents for me into the next section. I'm going to use a simple print command, and I'm going to say counter position equals, and then I'm going to go plus. I want to string set, so I've got to put in the str there to cast the counter as a string. I'm going to put in counter. Now when I click on run again, it will do counter position equals 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. It's counted 10 times, but within everything in programming, we always start at 0. If I wanted it to start at 1, I'd simply have to put in plus 1. Run that, and it was 1 to 10. Next part then, I do want to go back here. I'm going to say number equals, and so we're going to take an input from our user, so I'm going to put in input. I'm going to say in here, please enter a number to count to. And then I'm going to do the same thing as I've done here, just simply putting in for counter in range. This is where it's slightly different. The range is going to be the integer value, so int, of our number variable from here. Colon it again, and then I can just take that whole sentence there, same thing, and do print. I'm going to say counter position equals, and then plus. Notice how I've got a space after my equals there. That's so to make sure that I have a space on this side as well. And I'm going to do string casting again of counter. And I'm going to do the plus 1 element so that it counts in a more recognizable way. So if I run that, please enter a number to count to. If I put in 3, it says 1, 2, 3. Run it again. If I put in 3000, it will count all the way down to, didn't quite get to 3000. I run out of space. It wasn't happy going above 740. But you can see the process in place that it is counting up to those values for me. Now, that could be a limitation on how much we can actually process within this particular web version of Python. Let's try that again. If I just put in 900, do we get to 900? Nope. There is obviously some form of limitation on what we can compute within this and how much time we get to process it. Shouldn't be a problem for what I want you to do in the lesson though. What I want you to do, using the same logic I have here, put in place a system where it asks the user for a number, and then it prints out the times table for that number for me. Okay, like I said, that is the task. You can use this website. Once you are done with your task, sadly, there's no way to save it on here. What you have to do is highlight it, copy it, open up a text editor. So I'm going to go start and type in Notepad, paste it, and I can save it in Notepad. You could also go directly into Teams. On Teams, create a new Word document, paste it in there, and then save it directly in Teams. So there's no reason, you don't necessarily have to have access to Windows to use Notepad. You can use anything directly within Teams as well. That's it. If you click on the moon, it goes in dark mode. Everyone prefers dark mode.